From the field to the card shop, it's just Moon 3PO talking baseball and the hottest sports cards. That's right, we're rocking another solo episode. If you guys didn't tune into the previous episode, you guys would know that BroPo is busy being a father of two, which we will once again give it up for BroPo there and give him a couple of cheers and claps. So yes, he is busy being a father of two. When I was talking to him, he should be back next week. I might see him tomorrow. We have a fun little vlog planned out for tomorrow. But yeah, he should be back next week. So we will be back in full strength, talking baseball and talking some baseball cards, because obviously that's what we love to do. And I know that he's just fathoming of speaking baseball cards right now. The Red Sox are not doing good. There's obviously a lot of movement in the hobby right now with, PSA guidelines, PSA changes, things like that. And, there's a lot of cool sets coming out in the next couple of weeks, couple of months. We're going to cover one of them here right now. But I know he's just wanted to come on here and talk some ball. So, yeah, expect them next week. If not, we'll once again rocking solo once again, which is no issue on my end. I love just coming in here into the room, into my little studio, and just talking ball, talking some card, get my mind off some things. Life has been testing me the last couple of weeks, so it's always good just to come in here and talk some shop, even if it's by myself. But yeah, we got a fun little episode in this planned out. As you can tell by the description, if you guys don't read the description, we're going to talk a little bit of 2025 Topps Tribute that is dropping. Hopefully you're listening to this on the 15th. Topps Tribute comes out on the 16th. I know there already are some breakers with some pre-listed prices, so if you guys are into that stuff, you guys can go check out on Fanatics Live. So we'll talk a little bit of 2025 Topps Tribute, what to expect in Topps Tribute. If you're buying the product, it is very expensive. I was looking at Steel City Collectibles on their website to see what a box was going for, just because I didn't see the pre-order price, and it's very pricey. So we'll talk about all that. We'll talk about some market trends, what players are keeping are increasing in price, or keeping an eye out there, or also decreasing in price, because I think those could be some potential opportunities. And then we're going to talk a little bit of some Red Sox documentary. If you guys haven't seen that documentary, we'll talk a little bit about that. And then, yeah, I also want to bring in a segment on the pod with when BroPo comes in back here, maybe, talking to players that were watching, who were selling, who were buying, who were kind of watching a little bit. I think that would be a cool little fun little segment to bring onto the pod, because obviously this is a baseball card podcast. So, it wouldn't be a baseball card podcast if we're not talking some cards and what's selling and what's not selling. But let's head into it. Let's talk some 2025 Topps Tribute. Again, I wasn't able to see the pre-order price for this, so what it originally went for on Topps. So I don't know the price, but so I'm going based off what is available right now on Steel City Collectibles. So you can pre-order a box. You can go ahead and get yourself a box for $784.95. You are expected 3 cards per pack, 6 packs per box. You are looking for 3 autograph, 3 relics cards, and including 1 stamp of approval relic and 2 dual relic, triple relic. That's a mouther. Tribunary relics or milestone relics, and at least 1 base card parallel or rookie parallel number to 150 or less per box on average. So it's not even a guarantee here. One card that I did see here, and which is the reason why I want to kind of talk about it, was that Topps put out a tweet highlighting a Ken Griffey Jr. And Senior dual auto of them in the Mariners uniform, and supposedly that is the first time that they're appearing on the Mariners as a dual auto. When I saw that, I thought that was shocking, because I thought by now we would have seen something like that, but yeah, kind of crazy there that's the first time where they were getting a dual auto of both Ken Griffey Jr. and Ken Griffey Sr. both with the Mariners. Again, I think that's something that I thought would have happened a long time ago, but I guess it hasn't. It is a pretty small checklist, so that does kind of go in your favor if you're buying into breaks and or buying this product. It only is 100 cards. Rookies are numbered 81 through 100, which basically are the same rookies that we see in Topps Series 1. So, of course, we have our Jacob Wolfsons, our Brooke Lees, our Dylan Cruz, James Wood, Kobe Mayo, Jace Jung, Kumar Rocker, Rhett Lauder, guys like that, guys who highlight Series 1 2025. So those guys are in here, and, of course, they have those parallels that you are looking for. Kind of going through here some of the autographs. So there are autograph patches. Those are going to be out of 164 packs. So I mean, there's some cool players in there. Obviously, you have Aaron Judge, who is now team captain of USA. We'll probably wait till next week to kind of break that all down. BroPo kind of get his idea on that. We got Mike Trout. We got Rafael Devers, Julio Rodriguez, Ichiro. There's a mix of legends in here. So it's kind of like a Topps Chrome Black, obviously without the patches, because there's a mix of like legends, rookies, some, lower tier veterans, things like that. So that's pretty cool. There's calling the shot dual autograph. So I think this is a pretty interesting one because obviously they're going towards key moments, if it's a home run or like a key strikeout, because I see Johan Santana is on here with Gary Cohen. But they have David Ortiz and Joe Buck and David Ortiz, Don Orsillo autographs. I thought that was pretty cool. If you guys don't know, obviously I am a Red Sox fan, so having a David Ortiz and Don Orsillo autograph, a dual autograph, to me that's pretty cool. And they are pretty rare. They're 1 out of 234 packs, so I maybe will keep an eye out. I do have some Fanatics credit, so I definitely got to keep an eye out there to see if maybe I can buy myself into a Red Sox spot and maybe have the chance to get something here. But like they have like a Mark McGwire, Chris Berman. I think that's pretty cool. If you're a Yankee fan, they got Aaron Judge, Michael Kay, Derek Jeter, Michael Kay autographs, so that's pretty cool. So yeah, I mean, there's some cool, and a little funny one here is they got Bartolo Colon and Gary Cohen. Obviously, when Bartolo Colon hit his home run at Petco Park, I think that's pretty funny. So yeah, I think that's pretty interesting in this set. Again, they are pretty rare, so keep an eye out for those ones. Those do hit the market. I'm curious to see what those go for. And then of course there's a league inauguration autograph checklist, which is basically all the rookies, so that's pretty fun to look at. Milestone rookies, milestone relics jumbos. So this is where some of the veterans come into place. You got David Wright, you got Ichiro. Who else is on here? Looks like that's all really it. Joey Votto is in here with the Cincinnati Reds. Take a look here. Who else is not in here? Who's no longer in the league? Albert Pujols. So yeah, a mix of legends of that one. Pillars of the game. This is where some of the more legends come into place. We got like Adrian Beltre, Andre Dawson, George Brett, who is on the cover art for this set. He also has his own lines of inserts. We'll cover that in a little bit. But you got like Buster Posey, Barry Bonds is in this. So if you guys are chasing Barry Bond autos, he is in here for at least an autograph. Carlton Fisk, Chipper Jones, Cal Ripken Jr., Chase Utley, David Ortiz, like we just highlighted here. Is Dustin Pedroia in here? He is not in here because I do PC Dustin Pedroia, so he is not in here from what I'm seeing. So yeah, you obviously got your list of legends in here. Pedro Martinez is in here, so that's pretty interesting. Eddie Murray, Nolan Ryan, Ryan Howard. So yeah, just a mix of just legends that I grew up with. So that's pretty fun to see. Prime Patch Auto Relics. So we got basically the same superstar that we just covered. So nothing too crazy as far as that. Again, the tribute autographs. Kind of the same concept as far as what we've been talking about. Very big list here. I think I just saw Paul Skeens. Is Paul Skeens in here? I do not see Paul Skeens on here. Okay, so I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. Oh, no, I just lied. He is in here. So Paul Skeens will have autographs in here, tribute autographs. So that's pretty fun to see. The tribute career achievement, which we just talked about, is the George Brett. I think what's probably going to be one of the cooler sets to keep an eye out for is going to be the tribute to cleats autograph. So it looks like they're going to have like an autograph with like a cleat image. So that's going to be pretty cool. I think the Mookie Betts has also been previewed in here. Mookie Betts autographs are in here. Obviously, we talked about in the last podcast or 2 episodes ago, I believe. I'm not too sure what episode it was, but Mookie Betts autographs are back for Topps. So be expecting his autographs in the upcoming sets. Tribute to Threads autograph strip list. So there is Dustin Pedroia in here. So he is on here. Reggie Jackson, Yadier Molina, Ryan Sandberg. A lot of the same guys here. And then we have the True to the Game dual autographs. This is going to be 1 out of 325 packs. This is basically, I think, where we're going to see a lot of the cool pools and see what they do. Because we got, Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani autographs. We got Ohtani Yamamoto. We got Vladimir Guerrero and Julio Rodriguez, Mike Trout and Bobby Witt, which I think that's a cool card just because, those are 2 guys that are pretty well known in the hobby. So pretty cool to get them on the card. We got Corbin Carroll and Evan Longoria. Evan Longoria kind of a little bit of an awkward one, but yeah, he's in here with him. Pujols and Molina, Will Clark, Mark McGwire, Gunnar Henderson, Jackson Holiday. That's a pretty cool one. Yordan Alvarez, Jose Altuve, Ronald Acuna Jr., and Ozzy Albies. So I mean, if you're a Braves fan, that's a pretty cool. I'm pretty sure they have a lot of other dual player autographs. Continuing on here to the relics, so kind of the same concept. So there's a lot of same relics here. We got Ohtani, Mookie Betts relics, Betts, Freddie Freeman, Nolan Arenado, Paul Goldschmidt, Ken Griffey Jr., Mike Trout. That's pretty cool. Mike Schmidt, Bryce Harper, some Philly legends in there. Derek Jeter, Aaron Judge. That's pretty cool. Kyle Ripken Jr. and Gunnar Henderson, which I think in June there's a cool, really off topic, but there's a really nice bobblehead of Cal Ripken Jr. dressed up as Iron Man. Obviously, his nickname was the Iron Man, so I think that's a sick-ass bobblehead. I'm about to pick that one up. Jackson Chourio, Christian Yelich, so there's some cool little dual ones there. More milestone relics, more single-player relics, stamp of approval. So I'm not going to go over every player, but obviously you guys can do that for yourself. But you can kind of see, you kind of get the idea. Basically like a Topps Chrome Black, but just with more patches and autographs and things like that. And based off what I'm seeing here, they look to be all on card, so that's pretty cool. We always love on card autographs. We'll definitely take that. For me, obviously, as you can tell by the price point, that definitely is a skip for me. I'm not paying $800 for a box for whatever amount of cards, 3 packs, whatever. What did I say it was? 3 cards per pack, 6 packs per box for 18 cards. I'm not paying $800 for 6. What's the math on that? So 800. Let's see here. Let's do some simple math here. So $50 basically per card. Yeah, I'm not doing that. Again, maybe that's a potential break there for me. We'll definitely keep an eye out there for that when it comes to breaks. But look, probably just buy like a little Red Sox spot, because obviously those other prices will be a little bit inflated for the little popular teams. But obviously that Mariners spot is going to be very, very high. Dodgers spots are going to be very, very high. So looking by it, maybe we can get by here with the Red Sox spot. But are you guys buying Topps Tribute? Feel free to tweet me or talk to me at Moon3PO. Obviously, this the audio format the video format also goes up on YouTube, so leave a comment down below. I do respond to all YouTube comments, so if you guys are watching on YouTube, leave a comment down below. Are you buying Topps Tribute? Again, it's a skip for me when it comes to buying the actual box, but definitely is a one to keep an eye out there for breaks with that Fanatics credit. But yeah, that's all we have coming out this week from what I saw. I know Bowman comes out in May. Bowman is my favorite set to rip. I would cover it here, but again, I'm going to wait for BroPo to come in here so we can kind of talk about it. You know, what first prospects that we're looking for, what first Bowman autographs we're looking out for. It looks very cool. It looks very fun. It looks very slick as well. So I'm very, very excited for that. Hopefully it's not too expensive as far as when it comes to hobby. I did open up a couple of hobbies last year, so hopefully I can get my hands on some this year. Maybe obviously do some cool little videos for you guys, both on YouTube and or TikTok. So keep an eye out there for that. But yeah, that's all I really have here for as far as what's coming out this week. But let's talk some ball. Let's talk some what's been going on right now in the standings. As far as at the time I'm recording this video, April baseball is always so interesting because while we always say it's April, it's early. I said it last episode, you can't win the division in April, but you could definitely lose it. And as a Red Sox fan, it's like very hard on how I feel right now, because I want to say it's early, but at the same time, like it's the defense that's been killing them for so long. Like the last 3 seasons, it's been defense, and we'll talk about that in the documentary. But yeah, it's just very frustrating to see here. But right now, at the time of recording, as standing Saints, obviously these have changed by the time that you are listening to this. The AL East is very weak right now. The Yankees are 8-7, Red Sox are 8-9, Blue Jays are 9-7, Braves are 7-8, and the Baltimore Orioles are 6-9. All teams have a positive run differential, or at least at 0 for the Red Sox at the time of this recording, except for the Orioles. They're at -6. The AL Central, the Tigers are 9-6 with a 15 run differential, positive 15 run differential. Everybody else is in the negative. Royals are -8. They're at 8-8. Twins are 5-11, -13. Guardians are 8-7 with -2, and the White Sox are 4-11 with their -3 run differential. The AL West, the Mariners are 8-8. All teams in here have a negative run differential except for the Houston Astros. So the American League is very, very weak, and we talked about that in our predictions. The AL East is very wide open for any team to kind of just come in here and steamroll. But again, Mariners 8-8 with -4 run differential. Rangers are 9-7 with a -19 run differential. Astros are 7-8. Angels are 9-6, and the Athletics are 6-10. The NL East, Our Mets are 10-5. The Phillies are 9-6. The Braves are 4-11. The Marlins are 8-7, and the Nationals are 6-9. The NL Central, the Cubs are 11-7, 43 run differential, positive. So good kudos to the Cubs. That was my prediction winner to take the NL Central. Brewers are 8-8 after the horrendous start with a -3 run differential. Cardinals are 7-8. Reds are 8-8, and the Pirates are 5-11. And then to the NL West, which is the studded division here in all of baseball, and probably the most competitive division in all of baseball. I got the Dodgers at 11-6. Padres are 11-3. Diamondbacks are 9-7, and the Giants are 11-4, and the Colorado Rockies are 3-12 with the worst differential in all of baseball at -44. So, if you're a Rockies fan, you got horrible New City Connect jersey, and your team is 3-12 with the worst run differential in baseball. So, yeah, not looking good for the Rockies. As far as the standings right now, again, it's hard to make an overreaction. I try not to be overreaction to these division and to these standings, but I mean, I think it's kind of gone the way that we kind of thought they were. The Yankees are the Yankees. Hopefully the Red Sox start playing some better ball. The Blue Jays are playing a little bit better ball than expected. Do I think that's going to last? Don't think so. I think the Orioles will get hot. The Rays are kind of in that weird, awkward spot where the pitching is the pitching, but they're playing in a minor league ballpark, so who knows what that offense could do. The AL Central has gone the way that we thought we were. The Tigers, I think the Royals are going to, catch a little bit of fire here, so I think they will finally make their run. The AL West kind of has gone the way we thought we were, kind of all mediocre as far as of teams and, who's in that division. But I think the Rangers, again, if they can remain healthy, are the favorites to win that. The NL East has gone the way that we thought it were. Again, the Mets and the Phillies are above there. The Braves, nobody had them being at 4-11. Hopefully, when Ronald Acuna comes back, Spencer Strider comes back, maybe they can finally start turning the stride there a little bit. But it has been a rough going for the Atlanta Braves. The NL Central, again, the Chicago Cubs doing what they're doing. Taking the series for the Dodgers as well. Pete Crow Armstrong 2 home runs. Kyle Tucker is balling out as well over there in the newly pinched stripes. So kudos to them. And the NL West again continues to be the strongest division in all of baseball. Dodgers, even after their hot start, kind of slowed down a little bit, 11-6. They are dealing with some injury. I know Blake Snell to hit the shelf. Roki Sasaki has not looked that great. It's still very early again, so. Obviously these standings here are going to change, so we can we can start reacting more to the division, more to the series there as we move on. Now I do got to get a little bit of drink of water, because again, when you're writing a podcast by yourself, you're obviously going nonstop, so excuse me here. Nice little drink of water there. Miss having a co-host here, because once a co-host is talking, obviously you can mute yourself, cough, do whatever you got to do, get some water, but it is all good. Let's talk Red Sox documentary. I will say, even if you're not a Red Sox fan, if you're just a general baseball fan, not even a general baseball fan, if you're just a general sports fan, like if you like the behind the scenes stuff, if you like, they've done some really cool ones on I think they've done some on football. I know they have some really nice, good cheerleading documentaries as well. I believe it's the same director who did the Cheer You. I believe it's the same director who did it, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, regardless, if you're just a baseball fan, a sports fan, that is a documentary that I would highly, highly recommend. You don't have to be a Red Sox fan to enjoy it. It obviously goes behind the scenes of the 2024 Boston Red Sox season, which was one of the more mid teams in all of baseball. They finished dead even at 500, but Netflix makes a 500 team sound and look very, very interesting. Obviously, one of the key highlights, or one of the key points here in this series is episode 4, which is where they talk about Jarren Duran and his mental health. That episode hit home. You guys see a card here that I have of Jarren Duran. I posted a cool little picture of it on Instagram with a nice little caption talking about that. But talking about, his struggles with mental health, his struggles that he had in 21 and 22, and, him, being so brave to speak, on, almost taking his life in 2022. It was very eye-opening, because I don't think I'm pretty sure there's athletes who've talked about it, but when it's someone that you follow very closely, and, you collect their stuff, you've seen play in person as well, it was, I don't want to say it was a difficult watch, but it was definitely was I don't even know. I'm just really like lost for words, because it wasn't a difficult watch, because it's good that he's come out, told his story, and being an advocate for mental health. Obviously, baseball is one of the more mental, draining aspects in all the sports. So the fact that has came out and has opened up, to make sure that, if you're an athlete or just a male in general, obviously one of the big stigmas and with mental health is, with males is that, we're fine and that you don't need help. But if you are struggling, to go out and talk to someone, and if that's a friend, a relative, spouse, a partner, whoever is available with you, to just be open to talking to them. And I think it's something that even myself, I struggle with from time to time. So the fact that he was able to speak out like that on a platform was very, very eye-opening, and hopefully, advocates, for men like myself or athletes to, if you're struggling, to, seek help, talk to somebody. The help is out there. I think something came out that the Boston local area had the most calls after that episode, or after that story came out. So obviously, the impact is being made, and obviously baseball has made a tremendous effort to, increase mental health awareness and things like that. So watching that episode, Jarren Duran continues to be one of my favorite players on this team. Said that in the post, and it will continue to be one of my favorite players to watch moving forward. And hopefully I can add a little bit more cards to my PC. But even with that, there was some other cool behind the scenes. If you're, a fan of the long man journey, following players who've had, crazy stories going to the majors and things like that. Cam Boozer has this story in there. That's a cool story to watch. He's dealing right now with the Chicago White Sox. Absolutely carved up the Red Sox this past weekend. So if you like that, you can follow Cam Boozer. If you're into the quirkiness, if you're into, whatever Tristan Casas does, he's definitely one of the bright spots and one of the bigger players followed in this documentary. If you're, it was said in other podcasts that if you're a fan of Tristan Casas, you'll like him more. If you're not a fan of Tristan Casas, you're not going to like him. Yeah, there's a little quote that's going on right now too that he does his stuff purposely to piss people off, like painting his fingernails, doing the yoga, sunbathing, things like that. I don't think I've ever gave my personal take on Tristan Casas on this podcast. Obviously, you guys can see I have a couple of his cards already. But for me, I'm a big fan of Tristan Casas, even though he is struggling right now. I'm a believer in the bat. I'm a believer in the player. So, painting of the fingernails, going out and sunbathing, doing yoga, that's never bothered me. So I enjoyed watching that part of the podcast. I know there was some debate and some discussion about his injury, his ribcage injury. Was they did highlight in the documentary how he took a little bit long to come back from the rib injury. I think Trevor Story came back before him, and Trevor Story was like separated his shoulder. So I know that's highlighted in the episode, in one of the episodes. So it's kind of interesting to see that. You also get the story of Brian Bayo, who last year had a lot of mental struggles when it comes to the pitching performance. And I say mental struggles meaning, showing a lot of emotion on the mound. Kind of you could tell when something didn't go his way, was very, very frustrated, and obviously struggled last year as well. And it's highlighted in the documentary. I don't want to spoil it if you guys do plan on watching or haven't seen it, but in the episodes here in the whole series, it documents how his family didn't have visa to come to the United States, so they were stuck in another country. So imagine, you're by yourself in a country where language or English is not your primary language, and you can't see your family, you can't see your kids. That's obviously going to have a toll on you as a human, as a baseball player. So, kind of looking at that from a different light was very, very interesting. They also highlight Tyler O'Neill. There's a nice little first episode of him when it tracks his opening day home run. So very cool to see that. It was also very cool to see, you guys, if you guys don't know this about me, like I love like the GM aspect, the trade aspect. Like Moneyball is my favorite baseball movie. So also seeing Craig Breslow behind the scenes of, making trades at the trade deadline, talking to players when it comes to trading and cutting them, sending them down to minor league camp. I thought that was very interesting, very cool to see. So again, there's just a lot of different aspects. Like if you're a fan of baseball in different aspects, there's something for you in this. If you're a fan of the grind and want to see what a baseball player goes through 162 games, there's that for you. If you love the personal aspect, what a player goes through, what a player is going through, there's that for you. if you love the behind the scenes of, what a player and a coach is telling a player when they go to the mound. There's some cool stuff with Andrew Bailey in here when it comes to when he does mound visits and, capture the cool little moment. As I say that, there's a cool one where Brian Bayo is like, going back to Brian Bayo, he's very, very frustrated with his pitch calling from Connor Wong. That Connor Wong kept calling two-seamers inside. He's all, fucking two-seamer. He kept calling two-seamers inside. And I think he says to himself, like, what major leaguer can't hit a two-seamer? And then they do a mound visit. And then, ironically enough, Brian Bayo and Bailey, I don't know if Bailey is in there, but Connor goes up to him and tells him what he wants to do. Or no, Brian Bayo tells Connor Wong what he want to do. And ironically enough, Connor Wong asks for another two-seamer inside. And Brian Bayo's like, fuck the two-seamer. Like, how about we throw like a changeup or a slider? And that's a little bit more difficult than to hit a two-seamer. So seeing that behind the scene, I thought that was pretty cool. So yeah, I mean, there's different things for you in this whole documentary. I believe it is 8 episodes, if I'm not mistaken. So I highly recommend you go watch it. Netflix did a terrible job of dropping this, I will say, though. I will say the reason why I say it's terrible, because this is like an off-season thing for me. Because what I absolutely hated is that I had to watch the Red Sox struggle with their defense and struggle what they're doing right now, and then go watch that again from 2024. So the fact that I was watching both same things happen at the same time, it was very, very just frustrating for me. So I had to watching it live and then going back and reliving it in 2024 wasn't fun. Will I go back and rewatch it? Probably, along with the 04 documentary. I think those are probably some of the two of my favorite Red Sox documentaries or baseball documentaries they have on Netflix. So again, if you haven't seen it, highly recommend it. And if you guys haven't yet, go watch the 04 documentary. We covered that in the off season too. I think that's something that they should have done for this episode. But yeah, that's all I have on the Red Sox doc. I was gonna wait for BroPo to come in here because obviously, again, he's a Red Sox fan too. But it'll be about 2 weeks since that doc has come out. We'll probably get like a quick little thought from him on the doc. I know me and him have been chatting about it on the side, but kind of get his thought here on the pod. But yeah, let's head back to what's going on in the card market. Get away from the doc a little bit and see what's cooking here on this alt. I love using alt. I'm not and again, anything that I'm talking about here, card ladder, alt, sports market movers, I'm not affiliated with any way. If I am or was, I definitely will let you guys know. So I'm not affiliated with them in any way. Want to make that very, very clear. I'm not using them because I get a promotion or anything like that. If they want to, feel free to hit me up. I'm not denying it, but yeah, I just like using alt. It's easy for me to read. It's easy for me to understand. It's very clean-esque as well. I like looking at it, and it's very easy. So if you guys haven't used alt or like Card Ladder, we're going to look at some comps from Card Ladder. Would highly recommend that you go check them out. Card Ladder does have a pay to subscription, which if you're a PSA member like myself, you do get it for free. If not, obviously you do have to pay for it. And then alt is free, so you can use alt free of charge. Nothing to worry about that. But according to alt, these are the top rising as far as the 30 days. These are the hottest players right now when it comes to their card market. Highlighted by some Red Sox players, so I'm not just pumping Red Sox this whole pod. It's Woolger Abreu for good reason, Christian Campbell for good reason, Jack Caglione, which hopefully I see tomorrow because that's part of the minor league game. The Double-A for the Kansas City Royals will be in my hometown, so I'm hoping I get to see Jack Caglione hit some moon bombs. Tyler Soderstrom from the Athletics, Jacob Wilson from the Athletics, Logan O'Hoppe, Spencer Torkelson, Jung-Ho Lee, and Aaron Judge. And now for the top falling, again, all courtesy of alt. We got Roki Sasaki, who we just highlighted here. He's down 12% in the last 30 days. 90 days here, not showing here for me, but 12%, nearly 13% in the last 30 days. Evan Carter, who's still struggling down in AAA, he's down 10%. Matt Shaw, down 9%. Aiden Miller, 8%. Jordan Lawler, 7%. Paul Skeen, 7.24%. Sadine Rafaela, who's struggling right now, 71.2%. Dylan Cruz, who we're going to talk about in a little bit, 71%. Vladimir Guerrero Jr., down 6.3%. I always like to laugh at this because he put Michael Jordan in the baseball category. He's down 6.39%. Now, I want to talk about Dylan Cruz a little bit because this was something here that I saw that was like very, very alarming. Now, I don't want to say alarming, but something here that we wanted to discuss here, because again, part of the segment here that I want to introduce was going over some players and some cards here who are down right now potentially that you maybe want to keep an eye out here for. So yeah, it's no secret that Dylan Cruz has not gone off to the best of start right now. Right now, as far as the recording, has a negative 0.6 F4, and it's at a negative actually negative 6 BWAR as well. So not the greatest right now. No home runs. He's hitting 116, no RBIs, 3 stolen bags, 156 on base, 272 OPS, and has a negative 19 OPS plus. So is worse than league average right now. So he's off to a horrendous start. One of the bigger parts that is very, very alarming for this right now is obviously the strikeout percentage. Again, it's early, but this is something that we saw last year too. Right now, he's striking out at nearly 38%, at 37.8%. Last year in his brief stint, struck out 19.7%. He's not even walking either. This year, only walking at 4.4%. Last year, it was at least at 8.3%. And I say it was alarming because if you look at what he did there in the minors, he was kind of around that 19 to 20%. A-ball in 2023 was at 22.4%. AAA last year, he was at 17.6%. And in AA was in 23.7%. So he was around that above league average at least. But now coming in at almost 40% is very, very alarming. So I want to take a look at to see what he was struggling with. Like, what is he swinging? Is it the off-speed stuff? Is it, sweeper, sliders? Like, what is he really struggling with right now? And considering, and this was to me was the more alarming part, because in college, he was a dead ball hitter, dead fastball hitter. He's striking out at 54%, 54.5% of his strikeouts have came on fastballs. He's whipped at 36.8% as well. So he has expected batting average of 169, expected slug of 395, and a 277 expected WOBA. So he's not hitting fastballs, and that's the most pitches that he's seen. He's seen 47 fastballs, so he's not hitting it. Another pitch that he's struggling with as well are changeups. So he's stringing at his K percent on that is 66.7%. He's only seen 18 changeups, so not a lot of movement compared to the fastballs. But I mean, I think it's as simple as setting up with the changeup and then putting it away with the fastball. So I thought that was pretty alarming when I was diving deep into it, because I really want to see what exactly was he struggling with that he is striking out at such an alarming rate. So yeah, it obviously is a fastball. The only thing here that I would say is a positive for Dylan Cruz is the barrel percentage. He is barreling up the ball at 11.5%, at the 71 percentile, and his average exit velo is 90.3, so at the 58 percentile. So has been above league average as far as of hitting the ball when it comes to when he does hit the ball and barreling it. He's at least doing that at least. His defense is also even struggling. He's at a negative outs above average. He's at a 24% percentile at -1. His arm value is dead even at 0. His sprint speed's at 29.1%, so one of the fastest players in the game. But yeah, he's just struggling right now. And then looking here at all, he at a more recent PSA 9 and raw sales for his first Bowman autograph was $160. Wow, that is still a little bit pricey compared to what when first Bowman came out. In 2024, Bowman came out. That was like a $350 card auto, $200 auto. So the fact that it's at $160, you can see here the market and is responding to that performance. Would I be? I would be lying if I said I wasn't worried, because the strikeout is very alarming for me. Would I consider Dylan Cruz a buy? I would say it depends what you're buying. And this is not meant to be taken as financial advice. I'm not telling you to go out and buy tons of Dylan Cruz cards, tons of the next player that are running covers cards, but it's something you want to keep an eye out for, especially if you're heading into shows or buying into breaks or things like that. If you feel like, if you're a believer in Dylan Cruz, I picked him to win NL Rookie of the Year. Obviously, that he still has that opportunity to do that, but it got to the point where I even had to drop him my fantasy league. I was raving about him in my fantasy league when we covered him in our draft. When we did our cover of our draft, I was highlighting him, and so the fact that I had to drop him already and picked up James Wood, I don't know why I said they dropped James Wood. But yeah, so a little bit alarming for Dylan Cruz, if I'm not lying. So Again, something I'm gonna keep an eye out there. If a first Bowman auto gets to like $100, maybe even below 100, something you want to keep an eye out for. Obviously, PSA 9 sales are basically like a raw card, so maybe get yourself a PSA 9 graded to 10 or a PSA 9, maybe send it off to HC. You never know, but definitely gonna keep an eye out there on some Dylan Cruz cards. Excuse me here. Now to head up to someone here who's doing the opposite of Dylan Cruz. And it's off to a very, very fast start. Jung-Hoo Lee from the San Francisco Giants. We did talk about the Giants there a little bit in the last episode, but Jung-Hoo Lee is showing a good performance here, coming back from the shoulder injury last year. In 14 games, he has a 1.2 F4. I'm sorry. 3 home runs, is driven in 11, 352 batting average, walking at 11.5%, not striking out at 10 and 13.1%, OPS at 1.130, ISO at 352. You guys know I love my ISO. If it's above 200, you are a great player in my eyes. So at 352 ISO, BAPIP 372, and right now it's riding in with an OPS plus of 228. Now, obviously, can he maintain that? Time will tell. I know last year people were a big believer in the bat, but obviously he got hurt within 37 games, so weren't really able to see a lot of what he was able to do on the field. But has already surpassed his home run total, has already surpassed his RBI totals, and in half of the games last year he played 37. Right now already at 14, so has already surpassed that. Now, if you go on Baseball Savant, everything is red. Expected WOBA, expected batting average, expected slug. Everything is red except for one thing here, and that is the bat speed. Now, that's something I want to highlight here because obviously, like I just mentioned, he dealt with a shoulder injury last year. The bat speed is at 68.8%. That's 13% on Baseball Savant there. So not the fastest swing speed from Jung-Hoo Lee. So it's something you want to keep an eye out for if you're trying to take a deeper dive into Jung-Hoo Lee. Everything else is all red. Not striking out a lot, taking his walks, hitting the ball hard. What is his average exit velo? 90.4, so a little bit similar to Dylan Cruz there. But everything is red, and he's off to a great start. And we're seeing that with his cards. I want to highlight it here. So again, all courtesy of Alt. Again, not affiliated with them. So this is kind of an idea of what you can see. So on February 2nd, a Topps Chrome refractor sold for $55 on an auction, which you can make your case about auctions, but it sold for $55. February 2nd, it sold for $74.99. Again, that's another refractor at a $4.99 on-card auto from 2024 Topps Chrome. February 16th, we saw a green refractor. This is on an auction again. These are at a 99. This sold for $115.20. Now, on April 12th, we saw a refractor once again at a $4.99 sealed 2024 Topps Chrome. That went for $110. So you can see you're already 2xing, 1.5xing your funds. And this to me was the biggest one. We had a 2024 Bowman Chrome sold on April 14th for $300. So we went from a Bowman Chrome on February 16th selling for $115.20, and then we saw a 2024 Bowman Chrome selling for $300. 2xing your funds there. So to me, that tells me that Jung-Hoo Lee is not really a buy right now. It looks like his prices are very, very inflated. If you can find a good auto, a good little number card, maybe grade it, seal it, send it off to SGC, get that quick little flip. Maybe that's the move. But if you're buying Jung-Hoo Lee and the prices are already inflated, it seems that's already too high for me. I think he's going to be a great player. Do not get me wrong, and obviously has the international background for that. But I think the prices for his cards we're seeing that spike. So of course in baseball and all sports, or anything in general, you sell low, buy high. You never want to buy high. And to me, it just seems like his cards are very, very extremely high already. So, but again, if you're at your show, maybe you're watching some other auctions, maybe some other pre-listed cards that have been kind of sitting on somebody's eBay page, ComC, collects, maybe you can go out and find something there and get a good deal on that. Again, not financial advice. I'm not telling you to go buy some Jung-Hoo Lee cards, but you can find a cheap card. Maybe it's something you want to keep an eye out for. I did that with Chase Madroth. Found like a Mojo refractor on collect for that was like sitting on somebody's profile for like $10, and that card's going for like $35. So once I get that in, he put up a good performance in Chicago. So yeah, keep an eye out there for that. But Yeah, Jung-Hoo Lee. Keep an eye out there for those cards if you can get a good deal. Yeah, that's all I really had. I again, the episodes go for about 30 or 40 minutes here. I'm just by myself, a little bit difficult to run a pod by yourself. But yeah, again, BroPo should be back into full swing next week. So keep an eye out there for all the socials. If you guys are not following me on my other socials, you guys can follow me at Moon3PO everywhere. That's going to be YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Moon3PO. That's where you can find me. If you want to follow BroPo at Dad Who Collects over on TikTok, Instagram, and on Twitter. Links will be all down in the description and all the platforms that you're listening. If it's Apple, Spotify, or YouTube, all of our links down in the description down below. So you guys want to go check us out, please feel free to check us out on there. You guys have been killing the other forms of content. TikTok, we're over 1,000 followers. I do appreciate you guys so much for that. YouTube, we're pushing 1,000. I try not to get so fixated on the numbers, just because a number is a number to me. Again, I like doing this stuff. The fact that I get to, come in here, talk some ball, talk some cards, an opportunity to connect with you guys and, talk shop with my brother. What's better than that? So I try not to get fixated on numbers, but it's hard for me to ignore it. So I really do appreciate you guys for showing the love and showing support to all the content and interacting with me. Again, if it's online, I got, interact with somebody at a card show, which was wild. So the fact that, you guys are giving me this opportunity, I really do appreciate you guys so much. If you guys are following, if you guys haven't yet, again, subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you guys are listening to the audio formats, either on Spotify or Apple, please feel free to leave a follow, leave a rating. How are we doing? How am I doing as a podcaster? Leave that rating there. Be honest. I am open to open criticism to see how I can improve moving forward. Because again, we have a full baseball season this year around, so I'm very, very excited as the season continues and moves on. But that's all I have for you guys. Again, thanks for listening, watching, wherever you're tuning in, and we will see y'all in the next one.